Alright gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here in Zielonka. It is December, and my buddy Rusty, Money Gaming, kind of explained to me what's going on with the coffee beans and the roasters, and evidently one coffee bean greenhouse is plenty sufficient enough to run the roaster, and I think that's pretty clear as day here as we look at what's going on here. Obviously these are still pumping coffee beans over here, but you can clearly tell there's 137,000 liters over there. It's going to be maxed out in an episode or two after this. So I don't think we specifically need all of these greenhouses. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and start by removing some. I know that's probably a waste of money, but honestly, there's not really going to be a whole lot we can do with them anyway. So let's leave it at 2 for right now. We'll leave it at 2 for the time being. I know I lost money. That's okay. I'm okay with that. We'll leave it at 2 and then probably get rid of the second one at some point down the line as well as we move along here. But anyway, it is December. A very cloudy December, a little early start here, so the sun's not fully up yet either, but we're underway. Now, I do not feel the greatest, so I do apologize if I don't sound the greatest, and there may be a little more to the perspective of some time lapses than you might be used to, just because I am not feeling the best. I have some kind of a virus. I don't know what it is. My wife had something prior to me, but it didn't seem to be the same thing, so I don't know if I caught something from our nieces or what. I have no idea what I've got. I mean, I can still operate and do things. I just don't feel great, and I can't really breathe, so I'm sure I sound a little congested or awful. So that's the reason why. But otherwise, you know, things are okay otherwise. It's just not feeling the greatest. So we're going to try to get through this, maybe a few more time lapses than you're normally used to because of that reason. Obviously, I need breaks a little bit. Since I really can't breathe out of my nose, I got to breathe out of my mouth. So, you know, talking might be a little rough if I talk for a long period of time. I guess we'll leave it at that. So anyway, today we've got a couple things really to do. One, we've kind of got to get things grooving here, and when I say grooving, what I mean specifically is we've got to get things moving along as far as distributing goes. For whatever reason, this one is maxed out on the water. That's surprising. Okay, well, hopefully here in a little bit, this one will distribute some water elsewhere that needs it. If anything needs it. As a matter of fact, it doesn't really look like anything does, but that's okay. We'll keep letting it process and do its thing, I suppose. Anyway, we've got to do some kind of topping up, if you will, with some liquid fertilizer and all these different greenhouses, among numerous other things. We're also going to kind of take a look and see contract-wise what's out there. There's not a ton, but there are some things we can do. We can do this cultivating contract that would be simple for us to do. There's a plowing contract. Well, actually, we don't have a cultivator, do we? We just have a plow. Well, we can do the plowing contract anyway. There's a deadwood contract, which would be really easy, just easy money to get there as well. So we'll kind of move along as we go and see what we get into. Now, we do have like 20,000 liters, I think, of roasted coffee beans at this point. I don't remember when coffee beans are best to sell, so I'm going to have to look through that, but we'll figure that out as we move along, I guess. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so this series is going to be kind of running a little bit different until we finish the Skyfin Aqua Farm series. We've kind of moved that series onto Sundays, and then this one will continue to be on Sundays, but there may be a couple of episodes, well, a couple of weeks where I may not get an episode out on this one. This one is still going to continue to stay on Sundays. It just may be a bit delayed every once in a while, or maybe there's not a specific episode for this series every single week as we move forward. Until I finish that Aqua Farm series. Really, my goal was to finish the Aqua Farm series first and foremost before moving on to anything else. But my friend Crustu came up with a fantastic challenge that I really wanted to partake in. And due to that reason, I now have quite a few series running at the same time, which I know some people don't like. But we'll get through the Aqua Farm series here pretty quickly. There's less than 10 episodes left in the Aqua Farm series. It's probably more like 6 or 7 episodes, honestly. So we're going to get through that pretty quickly. I'm not too concerned, I guess is how I will put it. But at least for a couple of weeks, we will have this series and the Skyfin series coming out on Sunday. So you'll get a little bit of a bonus episode, I guess is how I will put it. I'm not quite sure which one will be first versus the other one. Maybe I alternate it. I don't know. But either way, one will be out early in the morning. The other one will probably be closer to dinner time, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, something, somewhere in that range. late afternoon, early night, something like that. Is probably what we're looking at. So I just bought a ton of liquid fertilizer. Obviously, I did not need this much liquid fertilizer, but it is the winter months right now anyway. We don't really have a whole lot that we can do today. So it kind of worked out for me not feeling the greatest to have one of the episodes where there's a little bit less to do. But it's kind of upsetting me a bit because I had quite a few, for my members, real quick, just shameless plug here, they do get early access to all videos, and so I like to have quite a few out there for them to watch early if they want to, just to make it, seem like they're getting their money's worth for paying me extra money to be a member on the channel. But, I've been a little behind because I haven't felt the greatest, and I think that's probably going to continue here for a little while. Okay, so what are we looking like here? What are we looking at here? So we've got... There's still, honestly, plenty of chili peppers, lettuce, and tomatoes, but more than likely, I would think February, we're going to have to start sending stuff over here again from the greenhouses, which is fine, but for the time being, I'm not too concerned. We can look and see when the best price is to sell these. You would think I'd have this memorized now, because that's pretty much one of the main things we've been selling, actually going and selling manually, but I don't. February. I thought it was February for most of this. Well, olives aren't, but... lettuce is March, tomatoes are February, and peppers are February. So, yeah, the price isn't terrible right now, but we're going to hold off on that. I would rather sell those when it's the best time to sell them. Now, we should have a good chunk of wood chips in here. We do. Now, wood chips, I think they're in December or January. I just don't remember which day. January is when they are. So we'll wait for the next month for the wood chips as well. We are allowed to skip months here on this series. I'm not restricting that because, as I mentioned, at some point down the line, we are going to be in a situation anyway where we, we've got quite a bit of things that maybe we need to do, and then in the winter months we're going to have very little to do, and it just doesn't make sense to do an episode just to do an episode in the winter months. But, yeah. So we've got the opportunity here that we can jump to January if we want to. Can I unload this here? There we go. Okay, the window for this is really weird. There we go. Okay, is it already full? Really? I thought it would have chewed through that. Is it really full? I guess it is. Okay, well, we've got 280-something liters, 287,000, 287,000. We have 287 liters of solid fertilizer still that we're going to have to kind of hold on to for a little while longer, and then eventually we'll be able to unload the rest of that into the greenhouse there. Now, I could move some liquid fertilizer in there since we bought so much of it. Maybe it makes sense to do that. It would produce a little bit more money for us, I think. Obviously, we're going to have a bit of an issue there with the seeds. We're having to buy some more, but that's not that big of a deal. We can buy seeds. I do need to buy some seeds, but we need to get rid of the rest of this solid fertilizer before we can do that. I think I am going to drop a little liquid fertilizer off in there. I think I am. Why not? Liquid fertilizer is on. I shouldn't have had that on. I was wasting money on that one. Whoops. I probably had it on because there was some in there before and I was trying to get rid of it, and now we're going to add more back to it. Okay, well, there you go. Liquid fertilizer's maxed out in there. Solid fertilizer's maxed out in there. And, yeah, we're cruising, man. It's making us good money, though, that little production there. Crust 2 has 2 of those running now in the competitive one-tile challenge, and I'm thinking I might be adding one myself for that series, just to help solidify and beef up our money a little bit more. I am becoming a little bit concerned. I thought I was just killing everybody, and now I feel like they've all caught up and maybe even surpassed me. So I'm a little concerned on that series. Used market, what's in here? Anything? Not really. Planter's nice, but I don't think we specifically need it. I don't know, maybe we do. We do need to plow all these fields up, these sunflower fields, so we can do that today. That is going to give us some things to do. I mean, I think our planter we have is honestly perfect. I don't think we really need that here. That's my opinion. We do have sunflower oil to sell. When is that? March. Okay, so it sounds like we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in March on this series as we move forward here. So we need to plow these fields up. Now, the thing I was considering doing... Whoop, not wardrobe. The thing I was considering doing Although I don't think maybe I should. It would kind of harm everyone else. I was going to say I was considering maybe combining these two fields together. But at the same time, I don't think on this series that I actually own that land, that track. I don't think we do. I mean, maybe we own a little bit of it, but I don't think we really do. I don't think it would allow us to do it anyway. So we've got $88,000 in the bank. What's in the used market? Just that planter, nothing else, right? So honestly, I'd like to upgrade this tractor. I really would. I like this tractor, don't get me wrong, but I would like something with a little more beef behind it for this farm specifically. So 180 horsepower, it's worth, probably by the time we fix it up, because there's not much to fix up on it, but it's probably worth closer to 37, 38. So it's not a ton of money. It would get us over 100,000. I just don't think there's going to be probably anything, unfortunately, yet for us that would actually get us a bigger, better tractor, right? I mean, we can always go the Dulsfar. That's going to be a little bit more horsepower, but that's not really enough, right? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's a little bit more beefy than what we're actually seeing here. So yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to happen today, but that's okay. So I'm, like I said, I'm very kind of congested here, and I don't feel the greatest, and I'm doing the best I can to try not to cough and have at least some conversation with you before I jump into a time-lapse, but I'm going to get to a time-lapse here. We're going to get this field plowed up. I probably won't do both fields. I'll probably leave a field for January, because I do think we're going to have enough to do in December. I just think January and February we're not going to have much to do. I think it's mostly going to be a selling perspective. So I think I will keep the smaller field over there for January. We'll get this field plowed up. We'll probably do one of those contracts, at least, maybe two of them. And then do a few other minor things that we want to do, like get rid of the rest of the solid fertilizer out of that trailer. And maybe a couple other things too. So we just hit 9 o'clock. We just made some more money, 93,000 now. So keep an eye on that. Maybe here January, February, maybe even March. Maybe we'll, well, I would assume probably at a bare minimum March, we'll have enough money that we can upgrade this tractor, or at least buy a second one. Maybe we don't necessarily need to get rid of this one. Maybe we just buy a second one. I guess it really depends how much money we get between now and then. But yeah, I've talked enough. My throat's starting to hurt already. Let's get the time lapse going. Let's get this field done. Shouldn't take too long. All right, well, we still are cruising along here. It's hit 11 o'clock. We're at 104,000 now, so pretty nice. We really need an upgrade here on the tractor. It's struggling. I think it's mostly struggling because this was what appears to be a potato field before, and there's just a lot of bumps. So it's just taken us a long time to do this small field, more time than I anticipated. We have a big chunk down there that we didn't do. I just left it there. I don't really know why I did, but I left it there, so I have to go back down there and touch that up here in a minute. But yeah, we're 70% through. We still got a ways to go. We still got field 24 to do as well, but you know, this will be nice. This will be a nice little increase here and get us closer to being able to at least either, one, buy a second tractor, or two, upgrade this tractor, one or the other. I think I'm more leaning towards just upgrading the tractor at this point, but it would be nice to have a second one for sure. It would allow us to utilize a worker a little bit more often than we do now. But yeah, you can clearly tell we are bouncing all over the place because of the severe bumps here from the potatoes. So now the other field we have to do is literally right up the way. It's a lot smaller. We've done that field many times in the past. We've done that field a lot, actually. For whatever reason, that seems to be a field that we always end up doing when it comes to a contract perspective. I don't know why, but it is. So and the GPS here has a bit of a mind of its own. It's doing some weird stuff, like that little tiny little smidge there that was missed. That was because the GPS told me to go that way for whatever reason. So I don't know, but you know, we're progressing. Let's put it at that. We're progressing. I really was hoping that you know, some kind of a tractor would pop up in the used market for us, but you know, we can't always be lucky. We've gotten lucky a lot lately in a lot of different series, I feel like. So here we are again, leaving weird rows unplowed. I don't really understand that. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I think I'm just going to leave those there, though, because honestly, we don't have to get the whole field plowed before it'll be 100%. It's going to leave at least a little bit left, so if I can get away without doing those, which I don't know if I will be able to or not, but if I can get away without doing those, I'm going to do it. It'll save us time, because we're really not going to be progressing the bar that much by fixing those little lines there, right? It's not going to produce a whole lot extra percent in comparison to doing a bigger section here, if that makes sense. The sad thing to talk about is the one-tile challenge, competitive one-tile challenge, is we're on the final year of that series. It's bittersweet for sure. I've had a lot of fun with that series. Don't really necessarily want it to end, but I think based off of the timeline of what the guys have going on specifically, it makes a lot more sense. I think especially Rusty is going to be a lot busier. In case you don't know, he does work at a case dealership, and obviously spring and probably to a lesser extent fall are very, very busy for him, right? So he's dealing with a lot of phone calls and a lot of, you know, long nights. And to be fair, so have I. The time of this recording, I'm recording this Saturday, and I'm still working today. Emergency issue, which is unfortunate because those of you that have been around for a long time know that I do work for a company that part of it is in America, the other part's in Canada. This last Friday, Good Friday, they actually get Good Friday off. We don't in America, but they do. And then Easter is the time this recording, at least, is tomorrow. It'll be the time you're watching this. It'll be the same day. But our biggest client is kind of forcing us to work. So it's a little unfortunate, you know, just been so busy and things that have been going on. But yeah, you know, that's how life goes sometimes, though, right? It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. I wish I could. I wish our upper management would just say, hey, you know what, this is a holiday weekend, you can wait, because it's not specifically a production issue. It's just, it's right against the line of something they want to take to production. So it's got a lot of vision on it, and there are other things involved with it as well. Those of you who've been around for a long time know this already, but I'm a project manager, so whenever things are going great, I'm getting, you know, that kind of praise. But when things are going wrong, I'm taking the brunt of all the attacks and people being upset. It's a stressful job, but pays the bills, I guess is how I'll put it. But anyway, you know, I'm in technically the banking realm. We're a small software company, but we created a software that we end up selling to different banks. And if you know anything about banking, there are government-regulated releases that occur twice a year. Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, all the big, you know, credit card, debit card individuals you might have heard of. There are government-regulated releases tied to those specific cards that have to go in at a certain point in time. This client that I have now is they're kind of a little overbearing, a little unrealistic with everything they do. Really, they don't have to be live with this until the end of April. They're trying to go live this weekend. It's just they are, everything is extra with them. So it's a struggle sometimes. So I'm gonna put it at that. It's a struggle sometimes. And they're not the nicest people in the world either. So yeah, I mean, I've been dealing with that while I'm also not feeling the greatest. So it's just been a hell of a week here. It's been a hell of a couple months here. I think I've talked about that, right? It's just things have not been going my way. Not trying to complain, not wanting anybody to feel bad for me. That's not the reason I'm saying any of that. I don't want any of that. It's just how life is sometimes. And you know, I like to talk to you about how life is, whether you want to hear it or not. And there I am, talking about it now. So it would be nice to get over this sickness first and foremost, and second of all, it'd be nice if the client would stop being so rude all the time. It's stressing me out a bit. So I went on a long rant there, but the long story short, given the fact that specifically Rusty and I think Crusty to a lesser extent, they're going to be getting really busy here, that it probably is for the best for us to make it come to a close anyway. And honestly, we've all kind of filled out our one tiles as much as we really can fill them out anyway at this point, and now it's just a matter of kind of repeating the same basic thing over and over and over again, right? And so it's probably time for it to move along anyway. Ended up getting away with some of these little tiny ridges here, which I kind of expected to do. As you can see, we are done with this field now, so it's not allowing us to plow any more of it, and there's quite a bit there that wasn't plowed. So the nice thing about the contracts is they do give you a little bit of buffer there. So we're going to get this one little field done over here, and I would love to be able to put a worker on doing some of this for me. I understand that would offset a lot of it, but I would love to do a worker, but I'm not sure we're going to get there. I've also considered, just because I want to get another tractor, I've also considered, you know, taking a tiny bit of a loss and selling some of those tomatoes and you know, lettuce, etc. I've also considered doing that. Because it doesn't really make that big of a difference. I mean, we certainly want to get as much money as we can, but it's not that big of a deal, right? So, you know, it was something I'm thinking about. I might end up doing it just so we can get ourselves a bit of an upgrade here, because I do think it makes sense. I like this tractor a lot, but it's just not enough for what we're going to be asking it to do here on Farm 2, right? We need something a little bit larger, a little bit bigger. So tomatoes, we can get 773. We can get 1486 at the pickled lettuce. I think I would hold on to the lettuce for sure. And 671 for the chili peppers. Or 680 at the train. Yeah, it's not terrible. Let's see, how much is in here? I'm going to sell the tomatoes. I'm just going to put them on auto selling. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how much money we get on the auto selling of that. Normally, I want to just go ahead and carry those around manually, right? Stack them up and go and sell them manually, and we're going to do that for the remainder of that here. But once 12 o'clock hits and we sell all of that, I don't have access to that, huh? Weird. Okay. Once we get access to all that, though, we'll see what kind of money we get. Maybe we'll be able to make an upgrade to a tractor. Even if it's not today, maybe we'll be able to do it in the next episode, right? Ideally, it would be today. But I'm going to leave the rest on storing, and we'll sell those when it's best to sell them. But we'll get that 40,000 of tomatoes and see what happens here. Because we're not going to... Everything that's spawned already, that's going to stay there. We'll sell that manually. But There's going to be some of this when we flip over here. Some of this is going to be from the auto selling of all the greenhouses and everything already. So, there you go, 138. So not terrible, not terrible. We'll take it. Yeah, that's not bad. That puts us in a little bit of a better spot for a tractor for sure. And once we turn these contracts in, that's going to get us in a even better spot. It's going to be almost $10,000 in contracts here. Now, what I can tell you, and if you're still watching at this point, is that tomorrow will be the first release of the Triple Threat Challenge Season 2. I talked about it early on, right, that my initial goal was to replace the Vanilla Survival with the Triple Threat Challenge Season 2, and then Crestu came up with that awesome challenge that I had to take on. So it kind of delayed it a little bit, and it's kind of moving things around and causing a little bit of mayhem with how many series we've got running at the same time. But like I said, the Skyfin Aqua Farm series, there's not much left in that series. Honestly, there's really not. I would suspect that we will be done at the very latest, end of April, at the very latest. And that's if we're doing, you know, 1 or 2 episodes a week. There may be some weeks where I bump it up and we have one on Sunday and then another one somewhere throughout the week, so that way that's 2, right? And then, you know, we'll clear it out a little bit sooner than the end of April if we do that, right? So we'll see. It really depends on my time and work and everything else, right? My initial goal for this weekend was to have this out, and I wasn't even sure I was going to get this one done given my sickness, but my goal was to have this one out, you know, in tandem on Sunday with the Skyfin Aqua Farm series. So it's just a matter of us getting all of that accomplished and having the time to do it, really, more than anything at this point. So I don't have any major plans as far as, you know, going anywhere or any trips or anything like that planned for a long time. Not till summer, when we've got a family trip with my wife's family that they do every year. They go on a long weekend trip, not far away, but not at home, right? So I won't have my PC with me or my Xbox or anything like that to connect to record. But nothing crazy, right? I'm not gone for like weeks or anything like that or whatever. It's just, you know, a long weekend. So it really wouldn't be any kind of or at least there shouldn't be any kind of a delay for any of you, right? It should be just a normal situation for you. I just won't be able to record for a couple of days, but I should have plenty of those done. And so, in other words, what I'm trying to get at, long-winded, but what I'm trying to get at is the fact that I should, in theory, be able to pump out 8 episodes a week, right? 2 on Sundays, and at least, and then, you know, kind of go from there. I don't have any reason to not, unless work becomes ridiculous or something else in life happens that we're not anticipating, right? But you can't really plan for those type of things, right? If something happens in your life that you're not expecting, you can't really plan for that, right? So from a planning perspective, I don't have anything, like I said, until mid-June, I think. So quite a few months before we're going to be there. We're just now hitting April, so quite a few months. I think it's June. Maybe it's July. I don't remember. It's June or July that we're doing this with her family. I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay, so nothing popped out there. I didn't think it would be, but so we're looking more along the range of 170, which is a lot better. I really think that's going to put us a lot closer to being able to make an upgrade here. Is it really going to be beneficial, though? I don't know. I don't know. All the mediums, they were looking pretty high. Yeah, most of these are a lot more expensive than I really think we need to spend right now. Perhaps the JCB here, the Fast Track, although we are utilizing that one. Well, I'm not going to say anything, actually. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of looking like maybe we're going to have to go to the small ones. And the small ones, I'm not quite sure we're going to find something better than this. So I think we still need even more money than what we did. So maybe I should have held on to the tomatoes. Oh, well, it's too late now. Can't go back now. I just thought, thinking about it a little bit more while we were going through that time lapse, I was like, you know what? We might be able to get a tractor today if we sold part of those pickled items. I mean, we have everything else on auto selling right now as it is anyway, so it's not like it's that huge of a deal, right? Alright, so let's turn these in and we'll actually see how much money we truly have here. 145 plus this. Yeah, so we're looking just under 180, which unfortunately there's not a ton. We could get this Vulture though. Now, this Vulture might be nice actually. 210, 173. I think we could do that one. So maybe the Vulture. I don't think we'll quite have enough for the John Deere here, although I'd love to have that. The Kubota, there's a potential there. 100% we could get the Kubota. Sorry, gang, my nose, I told you, I'm all stuffed up, so I apologize here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to go out and mod hub and see what else I can find potentially. I don't know, but I'm kind of, I'm kind of leaning towards the Kubota or the Vulture here. The Kubota would only get us to 200, so that's not a huge upgrade. The Vulture has the has the option for us to be able to really beef this up. We don't clearly have that kind of money, but we could always upgrade it later. 180 if I want the wheel, the wide tires, and the weights. Yeah, I think just from a financial standpoint, it makes a little bit more sense for us to. I think it makes a little bit more sense for us to wait until next month. So I really shouldn't have sold those tomatoes, but that's all right. That's all right. It's too late now. I can't go back. Like I said, I can't go back. Coffee beans roasted. Did we look this? We looked at this already, didn't we? Yeah, we did. It was March. That's what I thought. But the price isn't terrible, actually. But yeah, we'll hold off. We'll hold off. At least until January, right? At least until January. Okay, so that's all done. Put that away. We're going to jump over here to the John Deere once more. I'm going to unload, we should in theory at least, be able to unload the remainder here of the solid fertilizer. And then we can fill up some seeds here and then drop some seeds off as well. Maybe, if I actually can back up properly, maybe. Okay. Oops. And okay, guess not. I thought there was gonna be more room than that in there, but there is not. All right. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait until we get the remainder of that out of there because I really don't want to dump that on the ground. I don't have any way to pick it up, so we're gonna have to wait it out. But we're gonna leave the episode at that point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button in the case you've yet to do so. Thanks to my members. I cannot thank them enough for all their continued support. It does mean the world. I apologize for my nasally self, but hopefully it wasn't too distracting for you today. But yeah, make sure you check out tomorrow's episode. I told you, tomorrow's going to be the Triple Threat Challenge Season 2, Episode 1. Really, really excited for it. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to like the modifications we made. We made some modifications to it. In essence, it's still the same Triple Threat Challenge, but the challenges themselves have some modifications to them that I think are really going to amp up the challenge itself. So we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.